Let's talk about it. Paulie Malignaggi explains why Canelo doesn't compare to Muhammad Ali. So I saw this clip of Paulie Malignaggi explaining the difference between Muhammad Ali and Canelo Alvarez. And I had a take that, well, I have a different view of the situation. So I kind of wanted to show you what Paulie said, and then I want to give my take on it. So first, we're going to listen to what Paulie Malignaggi had to say. All right, here it is. Let's restart this real quick. Let's listen to good old Paulie.
Muhammad Ali did that. Imagine Muhammad Ali acted like Canelo. Muhammad Ali fought everybody in their prime. And that's why boxing became so big the generation after him. In the 80s, because of Muhammad Ali's greatness, in the 80s, boxing was all over network TV with major ratings. Why? Because the previous generation, Ali did what Ali did. You know what I'm saying? And not he didn't win every fight. He got beat sometimes, but he took on every tough opponent, the biggest risk he can find in their prime, sometimes not even his prime, in their primes, like with George Foreman. You know what I mean? And sometimes he got beat, the Ken Norton fights and whatnot, and he'd come back and he did it. But the way he did it is the way a champion does it. He was not bigger than the sport. Okay, he was, and he didn't act that way. And later on, everybody thanks him. Everybody looks at him as the greatest of all time for multiple reasons. You have a responsibility when you're on that level. It's not just you're on that level and you take advantage of it. Can you imagine Muhammad Ali?
So, I was reading the comment from GSS Boxing Fitness in response to this. He said, Paulie, all due respect, but you can't put down Canelo. He fought good dudes, Kovalev, Mayweather, Kirkland, both Smith brothers, Triple G 3 times, fought Danny Jacobs, Amir Khan, fought Mosley, Trout, Laura. Benavidez never fought the guys he fought. Come on, Paulie. Can't talk bad about him. So, okay. I mean, that's a decent point. But the even better point to me is you're comparing Muhammad Ali to Canelo, and you're praising Muhammad Ali. The first thing to acknowledge is Muhammad Ali wasn't even praised in his time. They hated Muhammad Ali in his time. Muhammad Ali was viewed as a draft dodger. He was viewed as the Louisville lip, a loudmouth. People really didn't appreciate Muhammad Ali in his time. And Muhammad Ali fought all these guys, and people were hoping to see him get beat. So that's one thing that Paulie didn't mention. Paulie's acting like it was always viewed as Muhammad Ali was beloved and people rooted for him. No, people couldn't stand Muhammad Ali and they rooted against Muhammad Ali. That's one. But two, he's also left out the fact that Muhammad Ali physically deteriorated, and he deteriorated in front of your eyes. You can see by the time he fought Trevor Berbick, he wasn't the same. He wasn't as witty. He wasn't as sharp. Even his stick grew old. So, because he wasn't as witty and he wasn't as sharp. You can see by the time he fought Larry Holmes that he wasn't the same. Larry Holmes was in the locker room crying after he beat Muhammad Ali because he know he beat a shell of a man. Well, in Muhammad Ali's prime, Larry Holmes was his sparring partner. By the time Larry Holmes beat Muhammad Ali in the ring, he was a shell of himself. Larry Holmes was in the locker room crying because he felt so bad for what he did to Muhammad Ali. And he knew that deep down inside, he really didn't beat the real Muhammad Ali. He beat a man who just stepped in that ring to get some money. Which brings me to my final point. Muhammad Ali went out sad because he needed money. He needed money. Why? Because his prime years were taken away from him because he refused to fight in the Vietnam War. So his best years, we never seen Ali at his best. We saw Ali ascending, then we saw Ali suspended, then we saw him sitting down his best years, and then we saw him reinstated when he still had some left in the tank, and then we saw him fight Joe Frazier, and then we saw him, but he still wasn't at his best. We don't know what Muhammad Ali looks like at his best, and that's the sad part. So we saw this man fight well past his prime to make up for the fact he couldn't earn in his prime years, all because he refused to go to war. So when you try to downplay Canelo Alvarez for wanting a certain amount of money for a fight, it's because he learned from Muhammad Ali. Just like Floyd learned from Muhammad Ali. Everyone saw the way Muhammad Ali was treated. They saw what boxing did to Muhammad Ali, and Muhammad Ali is not the only one. So Canelo Alvarez, by the end of his career, wants to be able to be financially stable. Excuse me. He wants to be financially stable. If he's going to take the risk, he wants the reward to match the risk. Why? Because he understands that his quality of life, based on what happens in that ring, can be diminished, i.e. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali taught fighters so many things. Even with the fight with George Foreman, who promoted that? Don King. And look at Don King and how he's going out now. He's putting on fights basically at horrible venues for boxing. I mean, the walk to the ring was shorter than this room. This is a pretty big room, right? It was shorter than this room. So what I'm trying to explain to you, okay, is you can't make the statement that Paulie Malignaggi made without including everything. Yes, Muhammad Ali fought everyone. Yes, network television was televising everything. That's because network television was getting a big chunk of that money. A chunk of that money Muhammad Ali wasn't seeing. Canelo is too smart to let that happen to him. Why? Because he learned from Muhammad Ali's mistakes. Yes, Muhammad Ali was fighting everyone back to back to back to back to back. And he paid the physical price for it. Canelo saw that. He learned from that. So did Floyd. So did everyone. So it's one thing for you to say, oh, imagine if Muhammad Ali did what Canelo did. Yeah, imagine. He probably would have had more money and less wear and tear on his body. Also, as GSS Boxing pointed out, you make it sound as if Canelo never fought anybody who was dangerous or anybody who was good. He fought a host of great fighters, many of whom David Benavidez never fought. David Benavidez hasn't faced the caliber of fighters that Canelo has faced. How come you don't pressure him into making the tough fights? You guys are so obsessed with forcing Canelo to make a fight, you let David Benavidez skate from the 168-pound division without fighting David Morrell. David Morrell's damn good. I know some of you think that David Benavidez can beat him. Then great, beat him and then build your name. But you keep putting the pressure on Canelo. You guys keep coming after Canelo, and I'm going to get into why you do that in the next segment. But the point is, Canelo has already earned the right to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Canelo did more in the 168-pound division in 1 year than David Benavidez did his entire stint in the division. But you overlook that. You still have more expectations for Canelo, the older man, than you do for David Benavidez, the younger man who needs to prove himself. Somehow you give David Benavidez more credit for beating Caleb Plant than you give Canelo when Canelo beat him for a title when he was undefeated and Canelo stopped him. You can't compare Canelo to Muhammad Ali because they're in two different eras. Barry Hearn even said this. They used to put the fighters in the slave contracts back then. That's Barry Hearn's words, not mine. So they had to fight like that. And it wasn't healthy for Muhammad Ali. Look at Joe Frazier, how he deteriorated as well. It wasn't healthy for him. Look at the old-time fighter. Look at James Toney right now. Come on, man. Let's stop this. These fighters learn. And I'm not against the business aspect of boxing, as I've pointed out. Once you've reached a certain level, you should be compensated for certain fights. Canelo is at the status where he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's undisputed 168-pound champion. He calls the shots. That's how it is. But to sit there and be like, oh, imagine if Muhammad Ali did what Canelo did, he couldn't do what Canelo does. And the sad reality is Muhammad Ali fought everyone in their primes, back to back to back. You're right. He didn't win all of them. Sometimes he lost. Sometimes he got get back. But they didn't love him then. You're only speaking about Muhammad Ali, praising him now. But that's not how they talked about him when he was doing it in the moment. It was more like how you're talking about Canelo. So maybe a few years from now, when Canelo's going from boxing, people will finally praise him for what he did, the way you're praising Ali for what he did in those times. But to me, it was just a lot of missing from that statement. So I want to fill in the blanks of what was left out from that statement. But again, let me know what you think. You agree, disagree? Let me know why in the comment section. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I'm out. Peace.